have no fear. Science schoolers finally here. You know intarsia, don't you fret, 'cause she'll show ya. Hey!
All right, we're back again. I'm going to take these pieces that we had put the risers on, take the clamps off, and see how those are looking. As we can see now, that apple stands taller. Too tall, actually. And that's okay because we can always sand down the risers. And I'm almost to that point where I want to start sanding on those apples. We've got everything pretty much rough sanded to the shape. I need to work on this a little bit more to get that to fit how it's supposed to. I am gluing the two halves of the apple together. I didn't talk about how I got this piece to fit. Remember how it was standing up a little bit? Well, I did sand it some more with my handheld round sanding things until it fit in there a little bit deeper, and then I just marked it with the pencil, took it over to the sander, and sanded it down so that it fit like that. That is kind of a cheater way to do it, but it worked. When you cut out a piece with a scroll saw, you get these little fuzzy edges. And so you just take like a sandpaper block. Oh, I can get it up there. You can see that fuzz. That's just from the scroll saw. And I just take my little sanding block and sand it off real quick. And that is the bottom of the project, so that it can sit without having an issue. I am continuing to sand with my sandpaper that I like to roll up. This is my 100 grit paper. Then I'm going to use my 150 grit sandpaper. That should go with it. I take my 220 grit, and this is my final grit. That makes that so smooth and nice. Okay, another thing that I did is I took what the apple skin is supposed to look like, which is, you know, these parts in the picture. Ideally, that wood would be the same thickness of the apple, but the wood I purchased is narrow, like so. It's not thick like the piece of apple, so I had to make do. But usually you don't glue it together like this, but I did just to make it easy to glue the final pieces at the end. And so I'm not sure how that's gonna do, but if it doesn't, then we'll just start over. Something I'm finding I'm not liking with this piece is the background. And there's a whole bunch of little extra pieces, and it was part of the pattern, but I don't know if I'm liking it or not. I might have to change that. That's one cool thing, you know, you can do whatever you want because it's art. It's your project. And so it's going to be a while yet before we get to the next part, which is gluing onto the base. So we'll just keep sanding away. All right. But I think that's all that we're going to do today. We'll continue on with sanding, and we'll continue on with the project. So thanks for joining me. Bye. I just thought I would check on the apple that we glued yesterday. I took it out where I had it being held together, and I got to take a look at it, and look at that! Ugly! Gross! Way too big of a gap. The inside looks better. Okay, I'm gonna see if I can pull that apart and re-glue it. They call it wood glue. Oh yeah, that worked. Okay, let's look at the ugliness. Okay, this is gonna take some figuring out. So let me see what I can do about sanding those edges and see if I can make it glue better. Be back. Okay, I majorly ruined that piece. Majorly ruined it. And I just have to cut a new piece. Guess what? In all of my wood, I found 2 pieces of red that were already glued together. Yay! So now all I have to do is I have to find that pattern again, and which I put in the scanner, so it should be on the computer. So that should be pretty easy to do. Let's go do that. Here I am at the computer, and I found it. There it is, the apple. File, print. Well, there it is, and it's the same size as the rest of the project. I'm going to cut that piece of apple out with some scissors and glue it to this piece, and then we'll be ready to scroll saw it out. Look at that. Ah, fits perfect on there. Wonder why I didn't find this piece before. Oh well. I already know, since that's a thin piece, that I'm gonna need to use the risers, so I'm gonna see if I can chisel the riser off of this. Success! It worked. I used the chisel and I knocked it off, and it had some junk on it, so I had to sand it real quick, but yay! So now all we have to do is cut this piece with the scroll saw. Cool. I'll do that real quick. Got the piece all cut out, and now I'm going to glue that riser on the back side of it, put a clamp on there, and it'll be good to go until next time. Let's put a little glue on there. I can get my glue bottle open. Must have been glued shut. Glue, and it's a lot of glue, but oh well, it works. Clamp. We're good to go. Okay, we'll see you next time.
Shut it down, it's so loud, gonna pull the plug. All your dreams not to waste, and you know not gonna happen.
Have a good day. Bye.